What if you had the type of belief that no matter the circumstances you may face, no matter the obstacles in your path, you knew you would succeed? That's what I call unshakable confidence. That it doesn't matter the external factors, the opponents I may face, the game I'm playing, the battle I'm in, it does not matter because I know I'll have a good outcome. And that good outcome may be I win the game, I win the battle, I defeat my opponent, or it may simply be I get better, I become more. If you want that type of confidence, that belief in yourself, watch this video because I'm going to show you how to attain that. Confidence means to trust. The more I trust myself, the more confidence I'll have in myself. So a great question to ask is, why don't we trust ourselves? There's 4 reasons we don't trust ourselves that I'll show you in this video. And it's important to become aware of this because when we're aware of this, we can choose to do the opposite. See, if I'm not aware of something, I can't deliberately choose to do that thing or not to do that thing because I'm not aware of the target I'm aiming at or running away from. But when I become aware of it, then I can make deliberate change for the better. And that's what this video is going to help you to do. So the first reason we don't trust ourselves is because of a bad track record. In the past, we failed so many times, we got so many bad results repeatedly over and over again that now we don't trust ourselves to produce a different outcome. I play basketball and I love playing basketball. My goal in the past was to play D1 basketball and that didn't happen, unfortunately, but I still play like 5 to 6 times a week. Nonetheless, if I win against a D1 basketball player, let's say, and we played 10 games of one-on-one, and let's say I lose 11-0 every single game. Well, now, if he wants to play an 11 game, I come into that game with zero confidence. Even though I played basketball like my whole life and I still play 6 times a week, because of my bad track record, I can't trust myself. I can't have confidence in myself. In fact, if I still believe I would win a game after not scoring a single point in 10 games against him, I would be arrogant, not confident. And that's how so many people are. They have failed once again so many times in the past that now they can't trust themselves to produce a different outcome in the future. So what exactly should we do? Well, in my case, what I can do is get better. I can focus on getting a better shot, working on my handle, and working on my IQ and my defense. And by making improvements, I now would have evidence I can point to believe in myself more. I can't change what happened in the past. I can't change my bad track record. But what I can do is put in work in the present moment so that now I have evidence to point to that in the future, I know I can trust myself to produce a better outcome. And we can all do that. We can all choose to get better. And when we do, we'll have more confidence in ourselves because we have more evidence to point to that we are reliable. And that's why we also build faith in ourselves by having more evidence. See, one way to see faith is focusing on the evidence that proves my belief. So going back to the example of being a basketball player and playing one-on-one, the D1 player, I, after losing the 10 games, have no evidence that I can point to, that I can focus on to have confidence. But after getting better and better and better by putting in work and on my shot and my handle, after having so much evidence of me improving, I now have proof I can focus on and point to have faith in myself. But without that evidence, I now have doubt. And doubt is focusing on the evidence that denies my beliefs. So going back once again to that example, if I have not got better, well, now the evidence is that I can't succeed. So I have to fail. I can't have faith in myself. Instead I have doubt in myself when I try to play him again. And that's what so many people have. They don't have evidence they can point to have reliability in themselves, to trust themselves. That's why so many people doubt themselves. They second guess themselves because of that lack of evidence. So get better and you have more confidence. And this all leads to the second reason why people don't trust themselves. It's because they have a lack of present progress. They're not getting better in the present. And because of that, they don't have evidence to point to have faith in themselves. One way to see faith is focusing on the evidence that proves my beliefs. See, when I get better at something, when I make progress towards a goal, I have evidence to point to that I can accomplish that goal. And by focusing on that evidence, I produce faith within myself that I will accomplish what I set out to do. However, doubt is the opposite of faith. Doubt is focusing on the evidence that denies my beliefs. So if I don't make progress, I now don't have evidence that I can accomplish the goal I set out to accomplish. Instead, I have doubt because my lack of evidence is evidence that I can't do it. And by focusing on that, it produces doubt within me, a lack of confidence in myself because I'm not getting better. So if you want to trust yourself more, you have to make progress. You have to continue to get better in the area of life. Because guess what? Every time we don't get better, we actually get worse. That's because entropy comes in and naturally makes us worse. Entropy, stated simply, is things tend to disorder. Left alone, things deteriorate. They're going to get worse. That's why I like to say all progress requires attention, but regression only requires neglect. If I want to get better at something, I need attentional and deliberate effort in the area I want to improve. However, to get worse, all I have to do is neglect that area because entropy comes in and makes me regress. So the same thing applies to all things in life, all facets in life. If we want to get better, we need attentional effort. And if we don't put forth effort, if we neglect that area, we will get worse. And by getting worse, we actually build doubt within ourselves. We take away the confidence we could have. So get better and you have more confidence. And the third reason why people don't trust themselves is because of bad expectations. They don't believe they're going to produce a different result. See, an expectation is a future imagined outcome. It's what we make up in our minds about the future. Every expectation is made up. If I say, I'm going to have a great day today, I made that up. Similarly, I'm going to have a terrible day today. I also made up that future outcome. So my question is, why do people set bad expectations for themselves? Why do people say it's going to be a terrible day instead of saying it's going to be a great day when it takes the same amount of energy? I believe that's because of past conditioning. They thought that way for so long that it's now second nature. It's now their programming to continue to think in that negative way. And by thinking that way, they now convince themselves not to trust themselves. And that's what I wrote in my book. On page 110, I talked about this topic. And I said, the third reason we may struggle to trust ourselves is because we have negative expectations for the future. When we expect things to go wrong, we start believing we'll produce poor results. As a result, our confidence gets robbed and we stop trusting ourselves to succeed. And that's exactly what happens. We lose confidence within ourselves when we expect ourselves to produce a bad outcome. So what should we do? The answer is pretty simple, and that's have positive expectations. Because when we have positive expectations, we will build belief within ourselves because we tend to believe and live out what we expect for. So choose to turn your negative expectations, your negative outcomes that are imagined into future imagined positive outcomes. When you say, I can do this, I can succeed, I can get good results, I will beat this person in one-on-one basketball, that will help you have more confidence within yourself. And the fourth reason people fail to trust themselves is because they've broken their word to themselves for so long. They set out goals and aims for themselves. They say like, hey, I'm going to work out 5 times this week, but they end up only working out twice and they give up. Well, now they have evidence to point to that they're not trustworthy, that they're not a person who keep their word. And because of that, they convince themselves not to trust themselves. To fix this, all we have to do is keep the word we say to ourselves. If we say, hey, I'm going to work out 5 times, work out 5 times. If we say, hey, I'm going to eat this food, or hey, I'm going to make this YouTube video, do what we set out to do. Because when we do that, we're building progress. We're having evidence we can point to now have faith instead of doubt within ourselves. And that's how we build unshakable confidence, by having all these areas align. See, when we look at the 4 reasons that people don't have confidence and we do the opposite, we have to have confidence. Right? If we have a good track record, if we're making present progress, if we have good expectations and we keep our word, we have positive self-talk, we can't help but have unshakable confidence. Confidence that does not go away no matter the external factors that may come our way. So choose to do those 4 things. Do the opposite of what unsuccessful people, unconfident people, people who don't succeed do, and you'll get the opposite result. If you like this type of content, feel free to subscribe. I try to post a video every single day, plus a long form video at least once a week. Also, if you want to learn how to be confident, I actually wrote a book. It's called Controlling the Controllables, How Anyone Can Become Influential. And though the message is about influence, the principle also is about confidence, because you can't be influential if you're not confident within yourself. Others feed off that confidence. See, confidence is contagious, like all other attitudes. Attitudes are contagious on other people. When I show positivity, other people are more likely to also show positivity because they're going to adopt my way of thinking. In a similar way, when I'm confident, well, confidence is going to help me to get better results than being unconfident. And then when people see those results, they want to imitate me. They want to adopt my way of thinking so they too can get great results. So by having confidence within yourself, you're going to be more influential. And that's one of the messages in this book. The message, simply put, is when I control what I can control, I'll influence others to do the same. So when I have confidence, I'll help others, inspire others, influence others to also have confidence. So if you want to copy this book, DM me at Austin_inspiration.daily and you have a free copy, or you can go to my website at austinmurray.com to get a copy on Amazon. And this is just eye drops I'm holding, by the way. Anyway, feel free to subscribe, post, comment. Thank you for watching.